You see, in Ghana we say nibi kumeyeminla. Some things never be here before. This morning, listening to some of the things that Oko said, Ewominla. I mean, it is this level of incompetence that shocks some of us, that the NPP would assume, they'll hold a press conference and assume that the national officers can hold a torch to the NDC national officers. Let's call a spade a spade. You know, Ay3hu Watch was very clear. You people, you hear, but you don't listen. There's a difference between hearing and listening. You understand me? And that's your problem. For you to sit here, Dr. Moi, and say that Ay3hu Watch said we didn't have results. Hey, if you take this to the practicing room, you will prescribe the wrong medication for your patient.
What did he say?
The man was clear. He said at the time he was to appear in court, he had challenges with the collation that had been done. That is not to say that there were no challenges with the results as were collated, and that in fact, and you made reference to the Chachu case, he was explicit in that in fact the decision was taken that the crux of our argument was the impropriety of the Electoral Commission. And that is why when we went to court, Chachu decided that they wanted to do a cross-examination of the Electoral Commission. Claire, how does this transmogrify itself into saying that Ay3hu Watch said NDC didn't have results and it's a vindication of 7-0? Let's go, yeah.
No case. Mr. Ose.
We are night school, we are day school. I mean,
but no, the viewer knows.
I mean, you guys must stop.
So you don't have to get distracted. You don't have to get distracted. You have the platform.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please allow him to say.
Look, yes, and let me come to the press conference he held yesterday. And I will start from him because he's here. Like Felix said. We have seen him and Sammy Gyamfi.
I've not seen an elder who likes fight like this.
Oh. Hey. The kingdom of God suffers violence, and the violent take it by force.
So you see, I've stated that you don't have to get distracted. You have to
control them. They are interjecting plenty.
You don't have to get distracted.
They're behaving like rascals.
He has decided to make sure. He has decided to make sure that you don't flow.
But he lies. In the words of Abba, I will throw. Look. Let us call a spade a spade. I mean, the NPP has hit panic button. The national executives are panicking. They are pissing in their pants. This is the first time I'm hearing a party in government. A party that cannot pay its local and foreign debtors. A party whose government is giving haircuts to even Sakura people. A party in government that is in distress. And you are not calling a press conference, Richard Ahiagba, as communication director, to give hope to the people who cannot celebrate. This Christmas is not Christmas, and you are not giving them hope. You are doing a press conference to talk about the NDC's election of national executive. Are you that jobless? I mean, you have so much time on your hands, and you're so incompetent. That's the only thing you can respond to, because you have absolutely no response to the quagmire your government has thrown this country into. And so you want to do a match for a boot for boot. I mean, I have respect for Mr. Steven Tim, fine gentleman, but you see, it's like comparing the Galacticos that Real Madrid had at a certain point in time to, let me not go anywhere, let me use Mina, Pram Pure Joy 11. That's how you are doing it. That's the comparison you are making. And we've decided to call him the general chairman, because chairman general has been corrupted elsewhere at Abeka Junction. The general chairman is there. You want to compare him to Stephen Ntim on what basis? I mean, what's the basis for the comparison? Or Kodria for Fifi Kwete? My brother Kodria, I mean, monkeys play by sizes. At the time, Fifi Kwete was making national headlines and understood the job of a scribe of a political party and was exploring it. Kodia was in school studying and aspiring to be like Fifi Kwete. And you tell me that one can match the other, or even begin to think of matching the other. Communications. About Richard, you've seen you plenty times with Sammy Gyamfi here, and you've left with a bloody nose. So how are you going? Look,
who was the judge?
Look, yesterday, while Sammy was doing his wedding, if we had put a microphone in front of him to respond to you, he would have bloodied your nose. If whilst taking his vows. So I don't understand how you are going to tell me that you are going to. I mean, how? I mean, who told you that? Where? Or Nanabi is going to match you? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me that of all the plethora of problems our country is faced with, the most priority issue for you as Director of Communications to call the media and spend your party's resources on after they appointed you is to tell them that you can match people boot for boot. It's a clear. Sammy Gyamfi won't waste time doing that, because you see, the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. Sammy Gyamfi doesn't need a press conference to tell the country that his national executives will whip your national executives any day, any time, man for man. And that's the competence we're talking about. You are all talk. The NDC team is all action. See you on the election ground in 2024. I mean, those in government are a distraction. I appreciate it. On the issue of the conferences, I agree with you that, and I agree on that with Oko, that there are reforms that are needed. I ask a simple question. Why do we separate the youth and women's elections from the General Congress? First and foremost, I think that is a waste of resources to separate them, because you spend resources, in the case of the NDC, in the past 6 weeks or 4 weeks, you spend resources going to Cape Coast, accommodating people in Cape Coast, and even the cost to the delegates themselves. So imagine a delegate from Boku traveled all the way from Boku to Cape Coast, most likely left Boku on Thursday to arrive Cape Coast on Friday for Congress to start on Saturday, completes on Sunday, and heads back and will get back to Boku maybe on Monday evening. Then by Thursday, he's coming back to Accra. I mean, why? Why are we doing that to ourselves? Why? And you see, it is because of these separations. When you have the youth and women alone, that people try to, because it's a smaller delegates number, it's a smaller conference. You don't have all the big wigs of the party who evoke a certain sense of discipline. At that smaller conference, all kinds of things happen there. Okay, issues of register and changes and all of those things that you are hearing. If it was at the National Congress, the main Congress, those things would have happened. And you see, I even will go further to suggest that look, instead of us not just combining the two, let's have the elections decentralized. Our presidential elections for flag bearer, we don't bring everybody together. We do it in the various constituencies. We've decentralized into the various constituencies because we believe that the president has a national character. National executives have a national character. So you must be able to have, and if you're a national executive, you must be able to have presence in all the 275 constituencies. So having a pooling agent to man a constituency station should not be difficult. The cost of transporting our delegates across the country, especially when you're in opposition,
even government is the same.
You get it. So at the end of the day, it is not. I think that look, we must begin to empower and strengthen our political party system, processes in such a way that it takes away the stress to the person, the cost associated with it, and it makes it seamless and simpler. Look, if you are doing the elections in constituencies, you can decide, hey, at conferences there will be no speech by everybody. At the constituency, you come in the morning. Conference is starting at 7. You see the issue. I'm addressing the two issues you raised. In your case, you spoke about speeches. In your case, you spoke about last-minute campaigns. Good. If you are doing it in the constituency,
you can't be everywhere.
You can't be everywhere campaigning last minute. So if we are starting at 7,
yes,
we start at 7, and you can decide with the electoral commission, with all the candidates, that we will close polls at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because look at the delegate, the numbers in the it's few.
Yeah.
So even if you start at even 8 and you go to 3, that's 7 hours. And maybe in the whole constituency, in fact, it is only the constituency executives who vote. Not branch executives. For national executives, it's constituency executives. 31 of them. Or 30 people. Look, you can finish the election in every constituency in 1 hour or 2 hours. Because you go to your party office, the reps of all the candidates are there. The 30 people cast their votes. In 1 hour, we are done. It is transmitted to a central location in the region. The region forwards it to national. Look, in 4 hours, we'll finish a national election without the attendant cost. Because see, there's a difference between delegate conferences, where you're having a party conference, and elections. We can then bring all of our people together for a national conference, maybe once every 4 years. But when we are going to have elections, let's decentralize it. The way we've done the presidential one. Even the presidential one, where it is branch executives who vote, which are more, we're able to do it there. So imagine 30 executives in the NDC per constituency, and everybody is there. You just go to your party office, 2 hours, you vote, the results are translated, and it will take away the issue of monetization in the elections on election day, where people are delegates are in a particular campus or hotel, and you hear the MCs shouting themselves hoarse. We will start Congress. Delegates, please come. It's Coco season. They won't come.
But that's if the transmission, the system doesn't crash. See.